Thank you. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining. And we've had two of these sessions before. The first session, we talked about how to make peace with your circumstances. The reason we are talking about these things is because, as per law of attraction, we are supposed to release negative thoughts, be happy, and then it is expected that we would be able to manifest whatever we desire. Easier said than done. A lot of people find it very hard to become happy, to release negative thoughts. So what this technique that I have devised is where you go through the other side of the coin. You first start releasing the negative thoughts and start finding happiness within your own life, within your own circumstances, within yourself. And then you would see that all the manifestations automatically start coming into your life. Your life starts improving, keeps getting better and better. And by the time you actually start becoming a deliberate creator, start putting your intent and start making things happen, you would be able to essentially be at a stage where those things would start happening very quickly. And some of the simpler things are easier to manifest. Like, if you read my blog, last week I wrote a blog about how nowadays I don't see any traffic jams at all. And when I go to Cockfoster station, I have free parking available waiting for me every single time. Now those kind of things are magic because normally they don't happen. Before that, for the last 5-6 years I've been going to that station. I just found a free parking only once in 6 years, and now in last 4 months I found it 9 times out of 10.
Don't tell the council.
So these kind of things, traffic jams, it's like earlier my experience was that I'm going stuck in a traffic jam, the other side is all clear. But nowadays, a rush hour, school run time, I can go through Barnet High Street, it's all clear, opposite side is all chock-a-block. So small things, but you can manifest those things magically. And before I started following law of attraction, I had seen the real evidence of magic, how some of the things had transpired in my life, so I knew those things are possible. I just didn't know how to deliberately make them happen. And now I'm learning, and as I learn, I've wanted to create a forum, which is this forum, where I could also share my learnings with the group, and then they can also start learning, start applying and start learning, sharing their learnings to the group. And overall it keeps, it helps everyone. There are certain rules that first of all, no judgment, because as per law of attraction, you follow your heart. So if it feels good to you, it's a good thing for you. It may not be good for others. So no set beliefs what is right or wrong. Because if you do follow law of attraction, you would automatically not be able to do anything which is truly bad, like harming others and those kind of things. Even those things have a place in the society because you need balance. The energy needs balance. So everything that happens for a reason. So once you understand that, there are things you don't want in your own life. They won't happen to you unless you have negative thoughts. So if those things don't affect you, they don't happen to you, how do you care what is happening in the rest of the world? So that's the principle. So don't judge anyone. Everyone has their own preferences, beliefs, desires. It's all good. If it feels good in their hearts, it's good for them. If it doesn't feel good to you, you don't invite it into your own experience. Every person has their own beliefs. Second thing is, because we record these things, so if there are certain things you don't want to discuss, while we are recording, or if you don't want to be on camera, usually it's me, but if you don't want to be in camera, just let me know so that we don't pan the camera around towards you. And or just wait until the end of the session when we finish recording, then you can talk to me one-on-one or talk to the group for those things that you don't want to go on camera. And another rule is that we don't talk about anything negative, because if you talk about something negative and it affects other people's thoughts or it affects their emotion, then they are inviting it into their experience as well.
What about when you think of a negative thought? When you're thinking about, obviously we just change it, try and change it as soon as
that's what we are talking about. These sessions will practice on how to change those negative thoughts. So we are starting step by step. So first step was how to make peace with your circumstances. So you can see that on YouTube. Second step is how to make peace with yourself. We covered this a little bit last week. We covered in terms of how do we manage in terms of our looks or physical conditions, and how do we relate ourselves compared to other people's views. Okay, so I'll be posting that on YouTube. Today we'll continue the same session, how to make peace with yourself. The next reason, apart from your own looks, your own illnesses or physical conditions, your own view, self-image compared to what others see you as, apart from these three things which we have covered, the other things that make you feel bad about yourself are what we are going to cover today. So one of those things is guilt. A lot of times we feel bad about ourselves or we beat ourselves because we think we did something which we should not have. Right? Now, when we look at it, let's say we did do something that we should not have done. We truly did something which we feel bad about, we should not have done. Right? Now, what next? What can we do from that point? Are we going to say that, okay, because I did something so bad that I'm going to start having so much negative thought inside me that I keep repeating that thing and keep attracting other people who will do that same thing to me? Or I somehow overcome that feeling of negative emotion and then start thinking positively so that in future I would not be repeating the same thing and others would not do that thing to me either. And whatever I did, the impact, the negative impact related to that event gets reduced, because your negative emotions cause negative impact, positive emotions cause positive impact. Right? So if you did something negative and you feel very negative about it, it has higher negative impact compared to if you did something negative but you have positive emotion, then you still are, there is a way or there is a chance that you may not have that much impact because of whatever you did. So these are the two choices you have to make at that point. That are you going to continue to beat yourself on it, cause more issues in your life, cause more harm to yourself and to the whoever the person you did that to, and not only invite more of that to your own life, but be more likely to do the same thing again. Or you just realize it's over, it's done with. You can't change the past. You've done it. The only way for you to, stop that negative consequences in future is that you just realize, accept it, that it's over, it's done with, you can't change it.
What kind of forgive yourself and then move on?
Just accept it, be at peace with it, move on, have positive emotion, try to look at it in whatever way, just be at peaceful, be at peace with it, because once you do that, you would see that you're less likely to do the same thing again. Either that, or you may realize while talking yourself up, it wasn't a bad thing at all. You were unnecessarily beating yourself for that. Because there are two things that may happen. One is that thing was truly something really bad where you were harming someone or you were truly doing something bad, which ideally, if you're connected to source, you would not normally do. It would make yourself feel bad, truly bad. Then automatically your inner being is telling you that's a bad thing, you should not be doing it. It's not who you are, it's not who you are supposed to be. Because your emotional guidance system tells you whether you are in alignment with your own true self or not. If you feel good, you're in alignment with what you are supposed to come here for, what your soul wants you to do, what you want yourself to do. So it's like sort of messages from God. If you feel bad, that means you are getting a signal that something is going on which you're not supposed to be doing, that you're not in true alignment with yourself. So when you did something, look at it yourself. How did you feel? Did you feel good, bad, whatever? If you felt good doing it, maybe it's not a bad thing at all. Maybe you're beating yourself out for no reason whatsoever. Try to see what is the true feeling that you have about that action or about that situation. Talk yourself into better alignment yourself. So you talk to yourself. The way to bring yourself in alignment is by talking to yourself. So we'll have few examples on different situations on how do we do that. Second thing is you do realize that it does make you feel bad, so you don't want to do it. So then every time something that happens that you don't want, You always have a contrast saying, oh, I don't want this, so what do I want instead? I want this. Next time I want to do this instead. That's what would make me feel better. That's what would be better for me. That's what would be better for somebody else, whatever. Right? So if I want to do this, how do I do that? Wouldn't it be nice if next time this happens? Wouldn't it be nice next time this happens? Wouldn't it be nice next time this happens? Wouldn't it be nice next time this happens? So then you start going on to that thought process. Wouldn't it be nice? I want this. Wouldn't it be nice if this happens? 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 You keep doing that until your mind then starts going into the positive direction. Because if you do that, and if it was something you truly didn't want, you're less likely to do it in future. If you didn't do that, you beat yourself into it, more likely you might not only end up doing it again. Why do people keep repeating the same mistakes? Even though they feel bad about it, they keep repeating it. Because of the law of attraction. So, but once you make peace with it, you start thinking positive, then you're less likely to repeat the same thing. So
it's a kind of bit of self-image stuff there as well, because if you don't feel that, if you don't believe it's going to come to you, or you don't feel you deserve it, then sometimes you can kind of prevent yourself from getting the things that you really want.
Yeah. So that's the whole thing about law of attraction. That whatever you believe, whatever you think, is what you get.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you think you would get a job and you're confident about it, you truly believe you would get that job, you're more likely to get that job compared to, let's say, somebody who's not confident, who's afraid that I might get rejected in the interview. Those people usually get rejected the first time around. It always happens. We have seen that happen in our own lives, like contracts, signing contracts, jobs, like people to people interaction, people who become friends or not become friends, people bitching about each other or not bitching about each other. All of that is all related to what we think. Like for instance, last few months, I'm just focusing on myself, working on my vibration, and I've seen marked improvement in how people behave with me. So that's the way it works. Means I did not have to do anything to please any other person. I did not even have to think about what those people are thinking, or I just do whatever I feel like doing. People's behaviors have changed. I do whatever I want to do. My wife and me have much better relation than compared to when we were. I was like all out and trying to please her. So because my energy is different, my vibration is different, my beliefs are different, my thoughts are different. Same thing here. So that guilt is one of the worst things that you could have, that could actually cause even further harm, because guilt causes other negative emotions and negative thoughts to start coming into yourself. You start having worse self-image, like you say, which will start attracting even more bad things into your life. So you don't want that. So what do you want? You want a better self-image. You don't want guilt. You want, to feel good about yourself. Yes, you did something, so you feel happy that at least you have the judgment, you have the knowledge to know that this is not something that makes you happy, you should not be doing it. Feel happy about that, appreciate that, and move on. And say that, oh, I want to be able to do this. Don't say I don't want to do that, because whether you say I want it or you don't want it, you're still focusing on that thing, so you're still going to get that thing. Instead, say the positive affirmation, saying I want. So if you, let's say, abused some close friend of yours, so which caused a hurt in your relation, and it was your fault, let's say. So you feel deep inside that you should not have done that. You feel hurt. That means your inner being telling you that you have done something which you should not have. Right? It's not a good thing to do for you. Then you can't beat yourself for it, because that's going to make things worse, because your vibration is going to change to an extent that it would have much bigger impact on your friend. Maybe hatred, maybe the breakage of that relation, whatever. But if you improve your vibration and go back to your friend, most likely you might patch up. You would minimize that impact of whatever wrong you have done. Okay? So you have to work on your vibration, improve your vibration, say that, okay, I don't want to do this ever again. It's such a close friend of mine. I don't want to hurt that person again. These are not the right kind of words to use. I don't want to use these words again because that makes me feel bad. So what do I want instead? I want to be nice to my friend. I want to love that friend. I want to respect that friend. Next time, I want to talk to him nicely. So this is what you want. Not that I don't want to do this. I want to do this. That's what you want. Right? So don't say, I don't want to abuse that person. Obviously, you would start with that. I don't want to abuse that person. That's the starting point.
The words are so important.
Yes.
Saying, yeah.
So you start with that. But that's a nice friend. It makes me feel bad. So I know that's the wrong thing to do. So I don't want to do that. So what do I want instead? I want to be nice to that friend all the time. I want to talk to him nicely, respectfully, in a lovely manner. Whatever has happened, I can't change that. Let's be over with it. Let's just forget about it. Because if I continue to beat myself over it, I'm generating a feeling of guilt inside me. I'm generating negative emotions, which means I'm more likely to continue to do that not only to this person, I'm more likely to again subconsciously, without realizing, end up doing this same thing to other people. I would get into that habit, a rut, where I would keep repeating the same things. I would cause hurt so many times, which I don't want. So instead, if I fix my vibration now, and set my intent, positive intent on what I want to see happen, then most likely I would not do the same mistake again. And if I have my right vibration, and if I go back to my friend, then again, chances are that the hurt that I've caused would be minimized. Probably we may not break up, we may be able to patch up, maybe that person would understand. So it makes you feel better.
I mean, what about if somebody keeps doing something to you that hurts you and you're trying to...
We'll cover that in the next session. That's a very important part. We require a full session for that.
Okay.
So how to make peace with other people around you. That's the most important part, because these two things are still okay. A lot of people can manage the circumstances, how to deal with circumstances, how to manage within themselves is the easiest bit. Reason is because whatever said and done, we're still selfish. We still want us to be happy. So we find it much more easier to accept the fact that forget about others. I just deal with myself. I don't care about what's happening. So, for them to getting from a negative emotion about ourselves, feeling bad about our looks, feeling bad about, feeling guilty about something, to saying that, okay, it's done and done. What can I do with it? It's over. I don't want to do it again. This is what I want to do in future. And this is what's going to make me feel good. And the moment they get that sensation of feeling good inside their heart, the moment they start feeling that, automatically they start changing as far as their own self-image is concerned, as far as their own feelings are concerned.
Surely,
it's the other people which is the harder bit to deal with.
I was going to say, surely if you allow yourself to have the things you want, or allow yourself to be the person you are, you can then probably give to other people what they need.
Exactly. So we'll cover all these topics in next time, how to make peace with other people. But right now it's about selfishness, like how can we become a better person where other people can feed off of us and be happy, rather than us having to please them constantly and not being able to. So it's about vibes, vibrations, vibes. So guilt is easy to handle, because we know that whatever happened. We don't want that. What do we want? And then change our vibration, talk ourselves out of it, keep thinking better and better feeling thoughts. Think of something that will make you feel better, slightly better, slightly better. Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? Keep doing that. And then slightly better, better, better. And then you feel that your mood lifting, your vibrations improving. Keep doing it as long as it takes, however long it takes, however much time you have, however many times you have to do. Sometimes it may take multiple conversations over a few days. Something is so important to you. It might take multiple conversations over a few days for you to start feeling better. But important thing is, when you have those conversations, when you choose your thoughts, think of a thought that makes you feel slightly better. So whenever you have that thought, deliberately choose those thoughts, saying that, okay, does it make me feel better or worse? If it makes you feel worse, discard it. What does make me feel better?
I think that's really important, Pankaj, about choose your words.
Yes.
That's so important, because I think for myself and maybe for others, It's the unconscious thoughts that we have, that we may put ourselves down or have a bad view of ourselves, and it keeps replaying without you even being consciously aware of it. So you're just carrying those thought processes through with you without it bringing it to the, you know, to your awareness.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm learning through this, is about being aware of. I'm shocked sometimes when someone gives me my words back and I think, wow, I said that, I believe that. So I can then sort of change those things, and that's what I'm trying to do for myself, is being aware of my thoughts. So deliberately saying something and changing that is helping me feel differently.
Yeah. So that's important. It's very, very thing, because words are very powerful. Because words are more powerful than thoughts. Because thoughts are still, inside your mind. When you say word, the action adds to it. So they become even more powerful. They originate from your thought, but you add action, physical action, in order to be able to speak the word, which makes it even more powerful. So, so this is something how you want to. And remember, one thing I've noticed is, and you would have noticed in your own life, that when you beat yourself on something, when you have negative emotion about something, you're more likely to keep repeating the same mistake. But when you make some mistake and you just don't think about it, it just becomes a one-off thing which you don't repeat usually. That's the way it works. So it's a self-perpetuating cycle which you need to get out of. And the way to get out of it, don't feel guilty. Whatever happened, happened. Recognize that you should not have done that, because your inner being saying that. On the other hand, in some cases you may do something, but socially people might say, that's not something you should do, but you feel good doing that. Then recognize that, accept that. That's who you are. Makes you feel good. So yes, people think that you should not have done that. Who cares?
If I've got something emotional going on, I like to just kind of ground myself, and changing your perspective, kind of just seeing it in a completely different way, just changes it completely. And you get all that fear and worry about a certain situation, but just to kind of get grounded and see it in a completely different way, or like just focus on the solution.
Yeah.
And then it's done. Yeah.
So figure out what you are feeling, and based on that you decide whether it's a good thing for you or not. And every person would have their own different feelings. The reason is every soul has come into this body for different reasons.
Do you know, I've started to use a phrase that's really good for me in terms of kind of not allowing people to persuade me to do things that I don't want to do. And I keep using the phrase, I know my journey, I know why I need to do this. And it's really helped me to not feel I need to explain any further than that. But that I just know where I've come from that's brought me to decide I can't make this decision now, or I can't do this now. It's really, really helped me, honestly. I was so blown away when I said it to the first time. I just keep using it. I just keep using it because it works. It just means that I don't have to go into detail. I just know where I've come from that's led me to this place. And it was just, good.
Yeah. And every person can have some magic phrases, right? It's like mantras. So every person sometimes ends up having those magic phrases that makes them feel good. And for instance, for me, the magic phrase I'm happy to share, I want to be a big billionaire. That always works, no matter what. So, so every person has those magic phrases. So find your magic phrases, find your mantras, because those mantras that make you feel good in all situations are your true self. That's your true reflection of your life purpose. That's why you came here for. So find them, and that works. And I found few of mine. This is just one of them. There are a few others, and so those things work. Another reason that a lot of people feel bad about themselves is because of society, and within the society, mainly a lot of these things come in. Even in society, those things were introduced because of the religions. And you would find that all the teachings of law of attraction, the principles of law of attraction, and there is a lot of things which are quite in contradiction to what you would have within your religion. a lot of those things are contradictory. So there would be times where you would have to make a choice which aspect to believe in. And how you would make that choice is how you feel inside. Every single thing, whenever you have a choice, which direction, which path to choose would be from your inner being. If you feel
Not
good,
logic.
not logic.
I actually think that a lot of guilt in religion is only there because of the way that people have interpreted it to you. It's, you know, if you really believe that God is love and He wants the good things for you, then, you know, if that's what your religious persuasion is, then if you stay true to that, then, you know,
See,
I think that's pretty much.
yeah, let's take an example, just one example to start with. 7 deadly sins, right? Everyone knows that. Like, I'm assuming that most of you are Christians, so you all know that, right? They've been there for years, thousands of years, right? They were first written in...
But are they just Christians, the 7 deadly sins?
yeah,
Are they just for the Christians?
Yeah.
Really?
I think there's usually a
Jews-
strand of something.
Jews also
Similar to
have a
that.
similar to that, but they were originally Jewish, 7 list of 7 Jewish
10 Commandments,
things, you
that
know.
kind of thing.
So, because Christianity and Islam, they both have originated from Judaism. So, originally all of these things were the same, but then, you know, at first Jesus came, so then Christianity became a different branch, and then Muhammad came, Islam became a different branch out of the same roots. So, to begin with, they were like initially in book of Proverbs, you know, during King Solomon's times, there were 7 deadly sins. That list was completely different from what we have in Christianity today. Completely different. And that list has kept changing depending on who the religious leaders are. They keep chopping and changing that list to suit their own things. Like, for instance, one of the things that was there, you know, a couple of things that were there in the original list was, one of the sins was to spill others' blood. And another sin was to take others' things. But in today's list, it's not there, those two things.
I just think basic rule of thumb is if it's good enough, if it's, you know, if it's good for me, it's good for everybody. You know, no, that's not good. That's not a good description. What I'm trying to say is if I don't mind having it done to me,
Do unto others as you would have done to yourself.
yeah.
But then we allow others to do to us what we don't want to do or shouldn't do to others. Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think
That
that's
dilemma,
the
if we
paradox,
could
isn't
park
it?
that others bit
You know,
outside for next session, so because we are talking only about, because we don't want to, like, you know, go into a discussion which might go off,
Yeah, no,
balloon into a
that's
bigger
right.
discussion.
Yeah.
Those things related to our relation with others, we would cover in the next session. Here what we are talking about is our relation with our own self, what goes on in our head. Because a lot of our guilt or a lot of our ill feeling for ourselves comes from not because somebody else is saying something to us, but because we have been taught this is right, this is wrong, and we feel like doing something that seems to be wrong. So one of those list example, because there could be many examples, one of those examples is the 7 deadly sins. So those two things, like spilling others' blood or taking others' things, when do you guess were those things removed and put instead replaced with something else?
Holy wars. When the holy wars
Yes.
are going on.
When the crusades were going on, because church was exactly doing that. We are like going out, killing all these however many people, taking their things, right? So they could not have it in that list, so they were forced to remove it for their own convenience. You know, that's how these lists have evolved. Or some other person, like, you know, if he has power, he makes it his own list. So if those people who are making these rules for you, they can't decide what those rules are meant to be, how can you believe in those rules? And second thing is, if those 7 deadly sins were to be the true wrong things you are not supposed to do, right? Then all these Western societies, America, most of the European countries, even UK is affiliated with Church of England, which were based on Christianity. Now some of them have started calling them secular over a period of time. Originally they were based on Christianity, based on those 7 deadly sins. How come they have laws which are different from those sins? Why don't they punish people who are lusty compared to people who do murder? why and where did these rules in the modern law, most of the countries, the modern laws, where did these rules come from? They come from Indian culture. Because in Indian culture, it was said that harming others, taking others' things, or killing others is bad. You should be punished for it. These are very ancient things, long before Judaism, long before Christianity. All these things were said over there. So if those Christian things, these 7 deadly sins are the right things to do, this is what is the thing of right or wrong, then why the governments which were formed based on these rules have to go to some other culture, thousands of years old, thousands of miles away, which coincidentally they say is wrong, primitive or whatever, and follow their rules and build it into their own laws?
Because it suits them.
Mm.
So, like for instance, in Hindu culture, they said that killing others, harming others, or stealing others' things, taking others' things, forcing someone to do something, these are all wrong things to do, which are the modern society's laws in every country. Right? Those rules had been there in Indian culture for thousands of years. And they also made a distinction that if you kill someone, in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna explained that if you kill someone as in line of duty, like if you're a soldier, policeman, and if you kill the other person because it's your job, then there's nothing wrong with that.
Who says that?
Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita.
Okay.
So basically, because it's your duty, and that's what we believe in modern society, that if we send our soldiers, they go out, kill others, they're heroes. Or policemen, when they go get into a gun battle, they kill someone, they're heroes. But other than them, whose job is not to kill others, if someone else does the same thing, it's bad. They get punished, they get hanged.
Yeah, but this is government-led, isn't it? It's government-led.
No.
And religion-led. It's not,
The point I'm trying to arrive at is the fact that these governments, which were based on these the same religion that prescribes 7 deadly sins, why did not they make their laws as per their own rules? Why did they have to borrow from some other culture to make their laws?
Because everything's borrowed. They're all taken from each other, aren't they? All the religions, Christianity and Christian, they're all born on the same day. They have, the stories are the same story.
Yeah.
It's just interpreted
It's
in a
just
slightly
interpreted
different way, yeah.
So the point I'm trying to make is that how do you believe that list,
You don't.
which like even the makers of that list are unable to believe? Because if you believe that list, then let's say the priests abusing children should be okay because it's not part of that list. That's the reason they do it, because they have that direct connection with God. So they think that it's the right thing to
Isn't a basic
do.
rule of thumb though, if you wouldn't want it to happen to you, you don't do it to other people.
Yeah,
That's basically
Because
the rule.
and how do you get that guidance? You get it from your inner being.
Yeah.
Because if every single time you would see that, if you don't want that same thing to happen to you, whenever you do that thing to others, you would feel bad while doing it. So if you follow your own inner being, your own guidance, you would never do that. You automatically would stop doing that.
None of us were taught that though. We've been all brought up in society whereby we learn very early on, from the time we go to school, don't talk, don't do this, don't do that. So we're led, we've been taught from a very early age to obey rules, to follow society's norms. So that's why we maybe
We're
blindly
enslaved.
follow these
We're
things.
they've enslaved us, really.
Yeah.
And we're trying to find freedom.
So yeah, so
And
this is a new.
spirituality brings that freedom, though, doesn't it? That's the
Yeah.
distinguishing
Unfortunately,
what
we've
is
got
wrong and
people in positions of influence that actually negate all the things that we're trying to
Yeah.
keep within. And I think the important thing is to stay true, and then it hopefully will break that down.
So a lot of times people then say that if you do that, if you don't follow society's rules, then what, as if that it will lead to some carnage and people would become criminals. It doesn't work like that.
Mm.
Because if you're true to yourself, you would never commit any of those
Yeah.
crimes.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Things that are truly bad, which you don't want to be done to yourself, you would never do that. So then crimes would just go dip down just like anything. So essentially, people who commit crimes are the ones who are always in pain with themselves. They don't do crime because of pleasure, but because they are not aware that they, like, you must have seen like all kinds of films and everywhere, like when people commit their first murder, they show the reactions because that's how the true reactions are. But they get immune to it over a period of time. Like, you see all these people but that is because they mask their true feelings. They stop listening to their heart.
I think probably a lot of people are influenced by what they experienced in their everyday life. They're influenced by people that tell you how it should be, and those same people are not doing what they're telling you should do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people feel that they're taking a shortcut. If you can have a flash car by behaving the way that you are, then maybe I'll do something so I can have that flash car. And so I'm going to sell drugs, or I'm going to rob a bank, so that I can have all the things that you have, and I know you're corrupt, so now I am.
Perfect example of law of attraction working.
Yeah.
Whatever you see, you start manifesting. Whatever you think about, whatever you talk about, you start manifesting in your life. And that's why people start getting influenced with each other. That's what law of attraction teaches us.
So it really is self-discipline, then, isn't it? We've got to be...
Yeah. Another example, just recently, there was the very bad news about some fathers abusing their daughter. As soon as that news broke out, right after that, so many countries, so many same exact stories within a few months. So many of the exact same stories broke out from many different countries. Law of attraction at work. That's what law of attraction says, that these things happen exactly that way. And those are the things you would see in your real life. Those kind of evidence is popping up all over the place. Where whatever law of attraction says, those things are happening exactly that way.
I don't want to go off the subject, but I saw something on TV last night that really kind of impacted very deeply. And there was a lady that was serving a life sentence because she had a boyfriend, and she purchased a gun which he shot somebody with, and now she's serving a life sentence because she did everything that he told her to do except for kill the person. And she was a young girl at the time, realises the error of her ways, but will pay now for the rest of her life because of the laws.
Yeah. So basically, it's our thoughts, it's our beliefs, it's all those things. So what we are talking about here is that this is one of the biggest areas of conflict that people may have within themselves, right? So we have to make peace with it wherever we are. If we have to figure out, maybe certain areas we are okay with following law of attraction, but certain areas we want to follow a religion, that's fine if that works with you. You want to forget about law of attraction, just follow your religion, that's fine as well. You don't want to follow any of those, you want to follow certain of those things, whatever it is, whatever works for you is the true thing that you should follow. So each area, it's possible for you to just believe in certain aspects, certain areas of your life follow law of attraction. But some other areas you just follow society's norms and your religion because that's what makes you feel good. And that's what you do. So each aspect, you may have a different belief, different upbringing, different way of tackling with it. What's more important is for you to understand on each area, each aspect, how do you feel? How does it make you feel good? If it makes you feel good, that's what your true self, you follow that. And become at peace with it. Forget about what law of attraction is saying, forget about what other religions are saying, forget about the reasons behind it. Once you have decided that that's the path you're going to take, be at peace with it, be happy with it. That's the main thing. So don't go by just what has been prescribed in the books. Decide based on what you feel about each aspect, each topic. Because I've got certain desires, lots of desires which are not, as per religion or society. People are saying, oh, how can you even want that, or how can you have that? But I'm pretty open about that because I'm at peace with my own desires. And since then, there are certain desires which would usually break up for marriage. But it's fine because even my wife is aware of those desires. And she's at peace with that as well because I changed my own vibrations. So those things, and I don't care about anything else because since I have made a peace with that, even if I talk about those things to anyone, no one judges me, no one raises his eyebrows or whatever, nothing, because everything is fine because it's me, my own vibrations, my own comfort factor. So there's nothing wrong with any desires, because if the universe has given you a desire, if your inner soul, inner being which the Kundalini we've learned how to raise in the previous session, if that is giving you guidance that that's what I want, that's what I took up this body to, because the soul wants some physical pleasures, physical experiences. That's why it took this body. Otherwise, why would they do that? Why would some spiritual entity take birth, go through all this like hassle of like all sorts of like thing called life, if it doesn't want those experiences? Right? It's not always pleasant, right? Why would a spiritual positive light of energy, which has only positive experiences, want to go through all this negative rigmarole? If it didn't want to experience those physical things. Common sense, right? So that means, and it is telling you what you want, because that's what I am, that's what I want, and you're getting that guidance, making you feel good. Like it's the same thing. Like, you know, if something is burning you, you get the sensation of burning, so you move your hand up. If something is pleasant, you feel like doing it again and again. So your senses tell you what you should or should not do, what is good or bad for you. Similarly, your emotions also telling you what is good or bad for you. That's what your inner being telling you. So follow that. So all the desires are good. Don't judge yourself, don't judge others. Only follow your heart. Just decide what feels good. Whichever desires make you feel good, that's a good desire for you. May not be good for others. So let others create their own reality, you create your own reality. Because all these desires, and this is something that is my own personal experience, not law of attraction. As I told you, that I saw the vision of the universe, how the universe is structured and how God looks like, or you know, and how the thoughts are manifested. So from that vision, I saw through my meditations that there is a thought field. Every single thing that we have thought is in the form of bubbles within that energy field, which I call God or Source. So those thoughts, all the thoughts we have ever thought, they still exist. So initially, universe was very small, right? It was just a small, very small, and all of it rest was energy, very few thoughts. But more thoughts started coming in. They pass through that energy field, go into the universe, which manifest in the physical form within the universe. So every thought manifests itself in the universe in the physical form, and that's how universe keeps expanding. So every single time you have a desire, you think of something, and you manifest those desires, universe keeps expanding. God keeps expanding. God is not constant. God keeps expanding. The consciousness of God keeps expanding. So, by having those desires and manifesting those desires, we are actually expanding the universe, we are expanding the consciousness. It's hard to understand, but once you connect yourself, you'll be able to see for yourself. You'll be able to feel, rather, for yourself, the meaning of behind what I'm saying. So continue that meditation, you would see what I'm talking about. Until then, just believe that that's what I've seen with my own connection with the source energy, with God. So these desires, these thoughts are good things, because that's what is creating that, improving the world, making the world a better place, expanding the universe, ensuring the continuity of our race. Because this is one of the big things you have to always understand. If everyone followed whatever society is saying, we would be extinct long ago. It's only the people who do different from society who improve the society. Always. Only those people who do completely different.
Sorry, say that again.
If everyone just followed whatever everyone else is saying, then we would be extinct long ago. It's only those people who break the norms of the society who improve the society. Every single invention was done by people who fought against the society, who went beyond the society's belief and did something different. Every single time, whether it's like, whether the earth is the center of the universe, and then you say, so, no, sun is the,
boats fell off,
sun is,
Michelangelo.
and those people, some of those people got killed.
Heretics, yeah.
They were killed. Some of those people are like,
There's still a group that believes the world is flat.
Really?
So basically you would see, throughout the history, only people who thought differently, who did not believe in society, who did not follow those rules, they are the ones who did almost all the inventions. They are the ones who always did all the social changes that have brought us where we are. They are the ones who did all the political changes which brought us where we are. They are the ones who did all the spiritual changes that brought us where we are. Every invention, every social change, every political change, every single change has been brought by people who did not believe in the society and the rules, who went beyond the society's rules and did something different. So, if some monkey would not have come down from the tree and decided to start walking, just imagine that monkey, the first monkey who decided to stand up straight and try to walk straight. What would other monkeys be saying to him? He would be an outcast. He would be an outcast.
It takes courage not to be an outcast. It takes a lot.
We wouldn't even be here if it weren't for that monkey, whatever the abuse he would have gotten from his fellow beings in doing whatever he did.
Yeah, but it's like somebody getting hurt on the tube. It only takes one person to start acting, and then a few other people will, it's that first person, isn't it? So I suppose it's always that.
So this is one yardstick you should believe in. And as a child, right from childhood, I'd always believed in it. That if everyone believes in exactly the same thing, then I know that may not be the truth. I need to look beyond it. I need to find something different, which is the truth. That's what as a child, I had that belief, strong belief, which has never gone away. And that's what has led me to finding all these things I'm finding, which I'm going to share in all these sessions. Because I had that such strong desire to find out the real truth. Like, how do I go there? And slowly and gradually, I've been learning so many different things from so many different religions, so many different spiritual practices, so many different things, that gradually I'm like learning slowly, little bit at a time. I don't say I know everything. I just know a little bit at a time, which I'll share. Only that much, possibly, not more. But whatever it is, it's still, to me, it feels it can help. It's helping me, it can help others. But if you look at me, I'm just a tiny speck in the ocean of time. I don't even exist, I don't even matter. But whatever it is, every single speck does something. Combined together, that's how the whole world changes. Every single of your desires is a good desire if it makes you feel good. It helps God become more important, bigger. It helps the universe expand.
We all don't matter, did you say? We don't matter. We do matter.
We don't really matter if you think about the whole universe.
Well, yeah, the size
How
of the
small are
universe,
we?
Yeah.
But when you really think about it, every single thought matters because it helps the universe expand.
Definitely.
And how we make the universe and God expand is through our desires, through thoughts related to our desires and manifestation of our desires. So if you have desires, don't think, reject it because it's something wrong as per the society, as per the religion, as per the norms or whatever. Remember, it's the people who don't follow the norms who make this world a better place. If those people did not do so, they did not take on the abuse that was hurled at them by the society, we wouldn't probably even exist. So every single thing we do different is helping us become a better society, better world, more evolved society. And as long as we follow our heart, we would never stray down a wrong path. So we would always be doing something that is good for us, good for everyone.
I need to go.
Yeah, so I think we are done for today. So
Okay. Do we still continue with our affirmations from last week? I am who I am.
yeah, so that's the same affirmation. I am who I am and I am pleased with it. So basically, you just use that affirmation from this session.
Okay.
I am
And
who I am and
Talk
I'm
yourself.
pleased with it.
Talk yourself into alignment. Talk
Yeah.
to yourself until you start feeling better about whatever things that are bothering you about yourself.
Yeah.
Okay,
Brilliant.
and so
Thank you so
10:30
much.
next
Welcome.
week then.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
10:30, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if you can join these groups as
Yeah,
well,
we'll do.
and if you think it's useful, if you can let other people know,
Yeah.
that'd be great.
Oh, good.
I
Yeah,
can't
okay.
explain, but yeah, I love it. It's really good. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
See you next week.
See you then.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah, take care.
See you. Nice to meet you.
Bye.
I've got to go here.